Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another
it!
one! Another one!
Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown, Jonathan Taylor.
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three, and he hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, high atop the 18th fairway here on this 19th day of January. Almost said February. Thursday. It is Thursday. All day. Hope you're doing well. Matt Taylor, we expect him to be on the program. Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com and Doug Bucshon from Orange and Blue News, the Illini rivals, as tonight Indiana travels to Champaign to take on the Illini in what will be a tall task, no pun intended, as we'll talk about that and lots more. The Indiana women, they win last night. Final score 83-72 over Illinois at Champaign as well. Hopefully that's a good omen. But that was a big milestone for Terry Morin as she becomes Indiana's all-time winningest coach with 189 wins. So congratulations to her. That's a big milestone, and her players were prepared for that. They all had shirts last night, apparently, but big night by Mackenzie Holmes. Pedestrian night. 30 points. Let's see. 10 rebounds. She had 10 rebounds. 30 points, 10 rebounds. She had 4 blocks to go along with that. So, another pedestrian night for Mackenzie Holmes. Let's see. Grace Berger, I'm just going off of memory. So I think she had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, something like that. A good night for her as well, but a great night for the Indiana women's team. Congratulations as they continue to roll. I saw that, their only loss is to Michigan State at Michigan State, which that's not a bad loss. Iowa just escaped there with a 1-point win in overtime. I was looking at their schedule. Can't wait for those Iowa games and the Ohio State games, which are coming up. Yeah. The Big Ten in women's basketball is freaking crazy. 3 teams in the top 10. You've got undefeated yet Ohio State. You've got an Indiana team that is a play away from being undefeated. And then you've got that Iowa team with that Caitlin Clark girl.
Yeah, she's pretty good. And an awesome win.
And I was being facetious when I said that Caitlin Clark girl. She's damn good.
She is damn good. I mean, incredible run, an incredible program that Terry Morin has built. 9 seasons, 8 of those she's hit 20 wins. I mean, well on her way to another 20-win season this year. Just incredible what she's been able to do. And like you said, Jim, the schedule's about to get a lot tougher, but it's going to be a lot of fun to see them play Ohio State, to see them play Iowa, and see if they can end the season at the top of the Big Ten.
Let's see. Everybody hitting us up early and often on the Andy Moore Honda hotline, and I saw one that I wanted to pull out. There you go, Jesse. You said agreeing with us, but there was a stat. Oh, wow. There's a ton I missed. So hello to everybody as well. Kevin down in Jeffersonville. Appreciate you down there. Stop rolling, computer. Nebraska beat Ohio State. What was
last
that?
Night, men's
basketball?
Men's basketball
again?
Last night.
They swept. So they've swept Ohio State then. Then isn't that who?
I don't think.
No, they lost to Minnesota.
No. Oh, yes, Ohio State. Yes, Ohio State lost to Minnesota.
So Ohio State has lost to Minnesota and Nebraska now.
Yep.
Ouch. Yikes.
They've lost. Ohio State's lost 5 straight.
Yeah, we'll get to that here shortly. Let's see. Armand Franklin, 15 points last night on 6-9 shooting. Yeah, good for him. Let's see. There was something I was actually looking for specific. Daggone it. Oh, man. Yes, it was a great win by the women last night. Gee whiz. Let's see. Jesse says Mackenzie Holmes has to hold some kind of records for the and ones. Yeah, she probably picked up a lot of those last night. But oh well. I can't find the comment I was looking for, but it has disappeared. But continue with your bad self. Why do you have those golf clubs in the background? Is it just so you can tease people? For those that are watching on YouTube, by the way, please hit the subscribe and like button, even though you might not like Dustin for having golf clubs in the background.
Look, I'm not using them. They haven't been used in over a month, probably 2 months, to be quite honest with you. Look, we got a little bit of sports here.
Best.
We've got a movie poster up here, so you get all of my likes.
Where are you right now? Are you?
The light bulb has burnt out in my office, so I'm currently in my bedroom.
No, so you're in the same place.
Yeah, I'm in the same place. Yeah. But
I got you.
I don't have that beautiful Big Ten big board. I don't have all the hats behind me and the Masters photo.
I've got you. I'm gonna have to get you a poster to hang up with our sponsors and all that stuff on it.
That sounds good.
Absolutely. But I really do wish I could find that stinking comment that I saw right there. Forrest points out that Indiana exists 6-point underdog tonight. Got to have effort, find a way to win this game. Yes, sir, that is certainly true, because we're going to talk about Illinois. Dude, they start three guys that are 6'10". 3.
Right. You gotta what you saw defensively in terms of the tenacity and in terms of the intensity is the same against Wisconsin, is the same thing you're going to have to see from Indiana tonight if they want to win this game, because Illinois is playing some really good basketball right now. They started off the Big Ten season and had some hiccups during the non-conference slate, but now they are rolling right now. So you're going to have to play probably maybe your best game of the season, because it's on the road, because Illinois is playing so hot right now, because it's going to be a matchup problem. They're going to need a lot of production on the defensive end from Trace, from Jordan Geronimo. Basically everybody. But it's a tough task, because not only has Illinois won their last 4 games, I think it's by like an average margin of it's double digits. I think it's like 15 or 16 points. I don't have the math in front of me at the moment, but it's going to be tough.
Philip pointing out, and yes, Xavier lost to DePaul last night, having their 11-game winning streak snapped. Point that out only because that's one of Indiana's best wins right now. If they can get this ship turned around to stay in line for an NCAA tournament bid. Look at Wyatt. Wyatt's hitting up the golf simulator in between classes today.
Oh man, how about that?
What kind of college man? That stuff was not. What the hell's going on? What kind of world we living in now? You can go to a golf simulator in between classes. You know what I was doing in between classes? Running to the next one.
Well,
Did
took
you
a
say
nap.
Uber? I thought you said Uber. I'm like,
no, I did not say Uber.
But damn Uber when I was in class or school. What are you talking about?
We didn't have Uber either. Would have been nice, especially the Uber Eats. Then you wouldn't have had to drive out to Hardee's.
Matt Pointer has joined Bob Knight, Mr. Keaty, Tom Izzo, and Lou Henson in the 400 Big Ten wins club. Shocks me about Lou Henson.
Well, 400 wins. He's got 200 Big Ten wins.
Oh, I thought
400
these were
wins.
Big Ten wins.
400 wins at a Big Ten school, 200 wins in the Big Ten.
Oh, I thought these were Big Ten wins.
No.
Okay. I was going to say, how the hell did Lou Henson get 400 Big Ten wins?
Yeah. Yep, 400 wins as a Big Ten head coach.
But congratulations to him. Still got to hang a banner, man. You got just
for
saying.
Sure. I'm
just saying.
I'm aware. Yeah, for sure.
You that's what happens when you do a lot of stuff but not
and
the
you can't
big stuff.
Well, not even just a banner. I think even just a Final Four would be huge. And been in 40 years.
Kevin thinks Chris Holtzman in trouble. No way.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Really?
A lot of fans are fed up, and I know fans don't make the decision, but there's a lot of fans who are fed up with Chris Holtmann. Now, I agree with you. They lost Zed Key, who's a big part of what they do, and they have not looked the same since he went out against, I think it was in the Purdue game, he got injured early in that game. But they were playing extremely well in the first half. Then he went out, and the tide kind of changed, and they have not looked like the same team since then. But they still, it's kind of like Indiana, though. When one of your players goes down, you got to find a way to make up for it. And it's not like they don't have talent. They got plenty of talent. But boy, to lose 5 straight. Tough.
Zed Key is playing, baby.
Did he play last night?
Is not dead.
Zed is not dead.
Zed is not dead. Boy, I bet you $20 John did not get that reference.
I bet you $20. I bet you $20 I didn't get that reference.
Yeah, you are correct, sir.
God. What on the wide world of sports is going on here? Zed is dead.
I got nothing. Give it to me. What is it?
Zed is dead, baby. Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah. I have not seen Pulp Fiction. Believe it or not.
I do believe it. Back to the penalty box. My God, how can you not see Pulp Fiction?
It's just, I don't know. I've never sat down to watch it. I think everybody I know.
Well, what else would you do? Run in circles and watch it?
Yeah, you might. I think it's been on when I've been around, but I've never. So that's one I need to watch then.
You think it's been on when you've been around? We're gonna have to do an entire segment on movies YouTube punks have to watch.
I know. There's a lot. There are a lot. I'm gonna get a big old.
I laugh because that reminds me of Smokey the Bandit. YouTube punks.
I have seen that.
I cracked myself up. Hey, there's nothing funnier than Jackie Gleason in Smokey and the Bandit. If you can shut the entire rest of the movie out and just watch him, I would sit there and laugh all day. His lines. Oh boy, Daddy, my hat blew out. That next line was a good one. We got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Like I said, Matt Taylor, talk to him. What are the Colts going to do? Quarterback time, baby, but they have options. They've got options.
Need a head coach first.
Well, yeah, but we're going to talk about quarterback because we're not talking about coach. That's pointless. Yeah. Hey, if you're listening to us on radio, we appreciate you. It means you're down on the ref, on the river. 97.7 ESPN, always the right call, or WBRO 89.9. Appreciate you guys. Soon to be on WJOB, the voice of the region. Looking forward to that. All you guys up in the region in Chicago that listen on podcast or watch on YouTube, you will be able to catch us on radio up there starting on the 30th, I believe. And that will be at 11 a.m. to 1 your Central Time. So there's that. Kenneth, hasn't seen Pulp Fiction.
There we go.
I asked pop questions that are current pop culture, baby. You guys got to get into the world.
Look, I understand.
Hey, we got
to take a break.
We'll take the break first, but we got lots coming up. We're brought to you by our good friends from Andy Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. To get whatever you need, the great deals on new and used vehicles. Go to andymoorehonda.com to get everything you could need and more. Also, the Wow Club from Endeavor Hospitality. Make sure you go to mywownetwork.com and sign up for the Wow Club. Start earning Wow rewards today to great places like BB's Market, your butcher or caterer, no matter where you live. Got great custom meats, bakery, custom-made food. You can pick it up. DoorDashing now. DoorDash is apparently just driving them insane with the business that they're getting done there. So you can DoorDash it from all of these locations as well. So we're coming back with a lot more here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Oh, man. You
didn't notice this.
I didn't realize.
I'm using this as a coffee. I'm using it as a coffee mug. I'm using it as a coffee mug today.
Beautiful.
See, I took everything out and I'm just using it straight up as a coffee mug.
I like it.
Here's my coffee mug of choice today. I like it. It's pretty.
I can't see it.
Hot brown water.
Hot brown water. That's right.
I will not make a comment.
Man, this schedule, I have not watched. Man, that was my bet on Zed Key. I thought he was out. I have not watched Big Ten basketball as closely since my schedule.
I don't care about that more than you don't know who
Pulp Fiction
Zed is.
Five left says I haven't. Thinks I only have a Disney subscription.
We need a meme of you that has like hashtag the bicycle movie or something, just for all of your.
There we go. Yeah.
Are you the one that called it the bicycle movie?
Me, yes, correct.
I thought that was John.
Say what one more time, Dustin?
What?
No, I called it.
What language they speaking? What? Say what again? What language they speaking? What? See, you don't know that line, do you?
Nope.
You have no idea what great. What? What language they speaking? What? Say what again? The tyranny. Oh my God. The tyranny.
Look, we're gonna have to have. There's gonna have to be like a recommendation of the movies I have not seen, and then
Gentlemen,
one day.
I'm Kurt, but I understand we have a situation here.
Okay.
I could go on all day long. All day long.
I'm not getting any of these.
Of course you're not. It's sad.
We need a list, and then I'll just sit down one weekend and watch them all consecutively.
Gee whiz.
I think people would want to see your live reaction to watching the bicycle movie.
The bicycle movie.
I think it's just funny to call it that now because it makes everybody who's seen it mad.
Well, it's he should be embarrassed. Man, I've got to figure out a different way to do my stinking mic boom. I don't ever like how it is.
Oh, someone says you're going to win the race against Dustin, Jim.
Thank you. I know I'll win the race against Dustin. I will whip his ass.
All right.
You didn't hear that. Someone said I'll win. I guarantee you I win the race against you.
All right. Here comes Matt Taylor right on time. 10 seconds till we come back. Here we go.
At 2-star prices, Southern Stone Restaurant is part of Endeavor Hospitality's Wow Club.
This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you here on this Thursday from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, brought to you by our good friends from Southern Stone, located right next door to Feast Market and Cellar on Patterson and Rogers. Southern Stone Restaurant offers a variety of freshly made food, tying their roots in limestone with their love of Southern eateries. Great comfort food with Southern charm. You can also find Mike Woodson and Don Fisher there each Monday night at 7:05 for Inside Indiana Basketball. We're joined now by the great Matt Taylor, who does the best Don Fisher impersonation I've ever heard, and that's a hard one to do. But he manages to do it, baby. It's he's spent his entire life, all 14 years working on that.
We're back here at the Southern Stone Restaurant, and it's time now for our panel question. And Coach Woodson, this one comes from Robbie from Salem, Indiana. He wants to know about the zone defense against Wisconsin.
Or the lack thereof.
We really didn't play any zone defense against Wisconsin. We played man-to-man, and we did a good job. Did a good job of boxing out. Got the rebounds. We limited the possessions. I thought we did a nice job on defense. We'll be back after this. You're listening to Indiana University Basketball with Mike Woodson on the CareSource Radio Network.
Man, there could be a conversation constantly between the fake Don Fisher.
I did not want to talk because I wanted that to. I'm like, going, got to clip that.
The fake
clip that.
Fake Don Fisher, fake Mike Woodson, and fake Forrest Gump. I mean, just incredible.
That's it.
You know, on Saturday Night Live, when Don Pardo, the longtime announcer, on the rare occasions where he couldn't do it, they had Daryl Hammond, who imitate him as him doing the opening Saturday Night Live.
Chris Kattan, Molly Shannon. Love it. Those are the days right there.
Oh,
so I got to tell you, when I was in high school, I took 4 years of German. And my German, we had to do a quarterly project every year. So I had 4 quarterly projects times 4. So I had 16 quarterly projects over 4 years. And you had to do something in German. And every year, based on, what I was interested in and, my like for broadcasting and IU sports, I did 16 Don Fisher shows in German where I would interview an IU basketball player as Don Fisher in German and then would answer as the IU basketball player and answering back to Don Fisher in German. I think I still have a couple of them.
Wow.
But
please bring one of those
15-minute conversations I just had with myself in 2 different voices, which basically sums up my career. Just, voices in my head, trying to get all the thoughts out. That was me, baby.
Hey, I think that's the key to great radio, great play-by-play is talking to yourself, carrying on conversations with yourself. I still do it all the time.
Oh, 100%. All the thoughts in my head just get out somehow, some way. That's exactly right. And, some people would do videos or they would write essays. No, I would just sit there, turn on the tape recorder and talk for 15 minutes. It was glorious.
See, people wonder, how do you become what you do? This is how you become something, because some people don't become it. They are it. And Matt Taylor is what he is.
There was no script.
Crazy.
There was no script. I mean, I might have to hit the pause button to look up how to play, zone, how to look up zone defense in German, what the word is for that. But for the most part, it was a basic 15-minute German conversation. It was like, what do you like to do in your free time? What's your favorite food? It was all conversations like that, man. It was epic.
Well, he could have talked to Uwe Blob pretty easily.
Yeah, that's right. My favorite one was when
should have talked to Bob Knight in German. What the hell are you saying, Fish?
I had to bleep all the blitzkriegs out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, my favorite one was Kyle Hornsby. I pretended to be Kyle Hornsby, and we just talked about free throw shooting and 3-point accuracy in German for 15 minutes.
Now, I've got an idea for you. Revive this But do it with
the problem is I don't
people.
remember any German. The 4 years of German's pretty gone.
See, the great thing is you can fake it, because this sounds like a skit that oh gosh, what's the guy that's on a TV series with Martin Short? This sounds like a Martin Short type of sketch where you can do this today, but with the actual people. You're speaking German, they have no idea what you're talking about, and they're like, what's this guy saying?
I always said that if like the coaches, some of the coaches I had in high school and some of my friends from high school and some of my teammates from college playing college football, if those people were notorious and they were people of fame, I'd have millions of dollars, because those are some of my best impressions, right? People you get really close to and you spend a lot of time with every day. You just pick up on their mannerisms and the way they walk.
And they're funny as hell if you know them.
100%. And it's all meant in fun. All right. I mean, it's all flattery. I mean, I hope that's how people take it. I mean, I know I've talked to Don over the years about the impression that I do, which I don't really think it's all that good, but I mean, it's a point of flattery for him. And he knows that.
It's the best one I know of. And I think that's what makes it even more unique, is because this is hard to do.
Well, it's better when it's not 9 a.m. I'm not a morning person, so it gets better as the day goes on.
But you did great, but his is just, what is it about his? I mean, he's got a certain cadence, but it's not so much it's just the sound of his voice is just, he's just got this unique sound and this unique cadence combined, which is kind of different. Most guys have one or the other.
Well, it's if you can, in my experience, listen, I'm very amateur at this, but in my experience, like if someone can do an impression of you, you definitely have a speech pattern, you've got an inflection, and you also have and we all have them, right? The go-to vocabulary words. Yeah. And when you can incorporate all of those things, that really is like the sweet spot for people that appreciate impressions. And so, Don always has this afternoon, right? Welcome back to the ball game this afternoon. Like, ball game's big, this afternoon's big. And that's just me picking up on it. Yeah, ball club or ball game.
But the biggest one of all, if he probably should have registered or somehow
it's across the timeline.
Trademark. At this juncture.
That's a good one too. Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about, he's the gold standard. I mean, he's such a classy guy, such a great guy. And like I said, he appreciates, where I'm coming from and my admiration for him. And so, I've got those words too. And I go back and I try to, grow from them.
Oh, that's a great, what are yours?
Well, I try to be better every game in terms of like.
You got to call them out. You got to call them out now. Come on, got to be honest here. We're in the truth tree. We're in the truth tree.
That's right, the trust tree. I mean, I try to be. I try to be like Doc Emmerich. Like if you watch a hockey game back in the day with Doc Emmerich, there's hundreds of passes of the puck in a hockey game, and he'll have a different word or a different verb or adjective to describe every pass. He won't just say pass. And that's the trap that I fall into. I'll go back and listen to a game, and over the quarter or over the course of like a quarter and a half, I'll use the same word to describe a pass like 3 times. And it's a little thing, but it just drives me crazy because I'm a perfectionist. I'm incredibly type A when it comes to being my hardest critic. So things like that just drive me crazy.
I understand that completely. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't notice it with you. But don't worry, we've got guys in here in this studio that are on this broadcast right now that doesn't know who Zed is. If I said Zed is dead, or they don't know who the Wolf is, because gentlemen, I understand. Pardon me if I'm curt, but I understand we have a situation here. They're clueless as to what I'm talking about, and I'm like, what is going on? But the worst travesty of all, I don't even know what to say. That bicycle movie. Dustin calls it that bicycle movie.
Hey, I'm just trying to know what this is about.
Where are you from? Where are you from again?
You want the town or the state?
Well, the state
I'm from Logansport. and from Indiana.
That bicycle movie.
Correct. Well, but you just described when we first talked about this like 2 years ago. All that was being described.
So it's been 2 years since you've been calling it that bicycle movie and still haven't seen it.
Correct.
I haven't seen it either, Dustin. Don't.
See,
I mean,
I know the name of it. I know the name of it.
Are you telling me you haven't seen that? You have not seen that movie in your life?
I know what Breaking Away is, but I've never seen it. No.
See, Matt and I are gonna have to have a watch party apparently at some point.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've seen moments, but I've never seen it all the way through.
So what happened was
it doesn't look like a great movie to me, to be honest with you.
See, okay. Now, when this was being described to me, however
it's
long
not
ago
like
it was,
it's not like it's Hoosiers or Rudy.
No,
I mean,
no.
What are we doing?
I agree. And everybody in the comments is now going to explode. But all that Jim would talk about was how it was about bicycles. And so the next time we talked about it, I said, "Well, what was that bicycle movie?" And it was so insulting, and it triggered so many people that I just decided to just keep calling it the bicycle movie.
Well, Jim left, so we can talk about whatever we want right now. So that's the best part. So whatever you want to talk about, let's use this time to grow. Let's use this time to get better, Dustin.
So you've seen Pulp Fiction then?
Oh, absolutely. You kidding me? Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
Oh, no. See, now I've got to be critical of you. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
I don't know. Well, apparently I'm going to watch it this weekend. I'm gonna have to have everybody give me a list of movies that maybe, and I think I've seen quite a few movies, but apparently that's one that slipped through the cracks.
Well, I think you would have had to have gone out of your way to avoid Pulp Fiction for this long. So what's the deal?
I don't know. Okay, well,
someone's going to get medieval on Dustin's ass.
You know, it took me forever to sit down and watch Goodfellas. I just watched that maybe 3 years ago.
So and you don't like crime and mob movies then?
No,
like
I actually do, but it just
you don't like good movies.
Pulp Fiction is the epitome of. I mean, that is the movie in terms of that genre.
Well, see, now nobody's ever explained it to me. I'm just now learning this. See,
I mean, it's Quentin Tarantino at its absolute finest.
I have heard that.
How are those Justin Bieber's videos going for you?
I don't watch Justin Bieber videos. I look at old highlights of Reggie Miller and Peyton Manning.
John's like, don't bring me into this, but you're watching Nickelback with John.
I'm not watching Nickelback. I do. Here's the thing. I watch a lot of classic movies. Does anybody in here watch a lot of classic movies?
No, you don't. We just listed two that you haven't watched.
Classic.
1940s, 50s, into the 60s.
Like Casablanca?
Yeah,
that's
Casablanca.
Classic? That's just...
Wow. Hold up! Wait! Well, time out.
To Kill a Mockingbird. That's a little Atticus Finch there for you, Dustin.
There you go. A Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh yeah.
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. We can go on and on.
Do you like Hitchcock?
What do you have? Movie week with Grandma every week?
I have it at my house.
Grandma comes over. You make her hot cocoa and cookies, and y'all watch a movie.
No, listen, I will not have.
No wonder he's
not
watching
Jim.
Pulp Fiction.
Dustin, tip of the cap to you, Dustin. I appreciate you, brother. That's culture. That's history. That's appreciating where we came from. No,
Matt, I've already seen those movies. I watched them a long time ago. I didn't wait until now to watch them. I've seen those movies.
I'm just saying, Breaking Away probably didn't bring any Oscars, right? I mean, that's fair to say.
It did get a nomination.
Oh,
as a matter of fact. Not only did it get a nomination, but Angelo was on here or told us they turned down the trip to go to Los Angeles to the Oscars because Indiana was in the basketball tournament. And
I feel like this is a lie. Yeah, they turned it down. I think
they were nominated for an Oscar.
I think that they pretended to be nominated for an Oscar, and then
you can look it up. You can.
I'm trying to right now. IMDb right now.
You don't even know the name of the movie. It's not under that bicycle movie. I can tell you that.
It's under Breaking. Hold on. We're gonna do a test here. I'm gonna type in Google.
Matt Taylor, how are you doing, buddy?
That bicycle movie, and see what pops up.
Matt, how are you?
Oh, it's not even top 5.
Where's his microphone? I'm going to shut his microphone off.
Is Pee Wee Herman, is that a top search? The bicycle movie? Does that populate before breaking away?
Premium Rush, Blood Road, Rising from Ashes, The Flying Scotsman.
Oh my God.
No Pee Wee Herman.
No breaking away either.
It is not on here at all. Good call on that, Jim. Well, you got something right today.
How about Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, or possibly Lamar Jackson?
How about it? You're coming in hot here on.
Talk some football. Well, I figured I'd talk something that you can actually talk about.
Yeah.
I know how to navigate the waters, and so this is all conjecture anyway. So I'm like we can just beat this back and forth like a volleyball.
Yeah.
People are all right. So the Colts have to get a quarterback one way or the other now. Most people think that having the number 4 pick, they're either going to trade up to get the guy they want or make sure that it works out, because Chicago probably doesn't need a quarterback if they're in love with Mr. Fields. We don't know if that's the case or not, but I've seen Chris Ballard say that he would have absolutely no problem trading up to do whatever it takes to make that happen. If that's a possibility, then you look at the candidates that are just listed. Bryce Young, I don't see it happening with him, even though he's got great stats right next to C.J. Stroud.
Right.
It's that 6 foot versus 6'3" of C.J. that I like a little bit better. And then Will Levis, the thing about him that jumps out, like he's got half as many touchdowns and 3 times as many interceptions as these guys do.
No, I think what you just hit on right there is what I think every team in the draft is contemplating right now. You look at, I think it just sort of boils down to traits, and you're exactly right. I mean, Chris Ballard did say last week that he would have no issues moving up to number 1 and moving heaven and earth. I think it was the analogy that he made, in order to get the guy that they believed in. But the evaluation's got to be there. Their belief in that player's got to be there in order to make that bold of a move, because that's really not, we really haven't seen Chris do that. That's something that he is, refrained from doing, because he just believes so much in the evaluation. You got to have that guy really fit your beliefs and your culture and things like that. Plus the evaluation, the talent's got to be there in order for you to, let's be real. Even from going from 4 to 1, like the Colts could potentially do, trading up with the Chicago Bears, you're talking about giving up your first round draft pick this year, probably a couple of draft picks later on in the draft this year, and then probably a first round draft pick next year, right? That's a lot. And so if you get that wrong, that sets you back. And I think it just boils down to traits. And Chris Ballard is a really big believer in traits at really important positions, right? When you talk about, cornerbacks, they got to fit a profile of wingspan and height and speed. That really goes across the board when he talks about evaluation and making draft picks. It's going to be interesting to see just how much he sticks to the trait in the evaluation of these quarterbacks, because you talk about Bryce Young, he is 5'11". And that's small. And, it doesn't mean that he can't play. Obviously he can. He's starring at Alabama. We've seen, shorter quarterbacks come in and play at a high level in the NFL, but he's not one to deviate too much from the traits that make up prototypical great players at those positions. Now, he does say that if there are exceptions to the rule, but you have to have something major making up for what puts you outside of the bucket in terms of traits. We talk about cornerbacks. Like the story that I always go back to is Kenny Moore. Kenny's small and doesn't have a lot of height, and has, had good speed coming out, but not great elite speed at some of those for some of those other cornerbacks that he was being evaluated with. Undrafted guy at a Valdosta State, but the trait that he made up for was wingspan. Right, he's got really long arms. He's got good athleticism. He's got really good ball skills, and that sort of put him over the top. And the Colts pulling the trigger to bring him over from the Patriots at the time, now playing for the Colts. And so Levis is all traits. Levis is 6'4". He just looks like a prototypical NFL quarterback. same thing with Stroud. Stroud's got athleticism. The knock on Stroud is that he doesn't all the time use that to his advantage, right? He doesn't, he tries to hang in the pocket and make plays through the air when, some teams would like to see him be a little bit more willing to make something happen, off platform and use that athleticism outside of the pocket. So I just think it just boils down to your evaluation, your belief, and that talent, confidence has to be there in order for the Colts to go from 4-1 and make that massive of a trade that could potentially set you back for a long, long time if you get it wrong. So that's what they're weighing through right now here in the month of January, February, March, and April.
Well, they've already been set back for the last couple of years. So yeah, this is, to me, this is a swing you have to make. You have to take. Well, there's no question, Dustin. I mean, you have to do this because the others, well, hell, these are all guesses to a degree.
Right. They're all guesses. Well,
but
it's not
that like a quarterback that we've talked about this so much lately, these young quarterbacks, but when you have one coming out of a program like Ohio State that has been on the big stage for 4 years or 3 years, has been producing for that time, in a system that requires a lot of thinking. So you're kind of ahead of the game as opposed to, and I don't mean someone coming from Indiana per se.
But sometimes that doesn't always, like, you can't use a program as a barometer because when's the last time an Ohio State quarterback's been to the Super Bowl? I don't honestly know the question to that. But
I mean, they've got a couple that's in the league right now playing is my point.
Look at Josh Allen. Everybody thought he was overhyped. He's one of the 4 or 5, probably top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So you never know. And that's why even when I watched Will Levis, I'm like, I don't know that this kid is an NFL caliber quarterback, but at the same time, again, a lot of people said that about Josh Allen. So sometimes you just don't know. And I don't know. You said the Colts had set back, but this was a team that should have been in the playoffs 2 years ago. And then this year it just started kind of crumbling. So they do need a quarterback, but I still think that the foundation's there. They got to make some changes. But one of the things I wanted to ask Matt about, because this has been a storyline, is the Colts are obviously looking for a new head coach. I feel like in today's NFL or college football or any sport really, it's easy to pull a trigger quickly to have your guy in place and to kind of move forward. Seems to me that the Colts are really taking their time and doing their due diligence because they know they need to get this decision right.
Yeah, because they can take their time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot. I mean, like, you see the Arizona Cardinals and they're, I think, a little bit more urgent than, I don't know if that's the right word, but their timeline seems to be different than the Colts. I mean, the Colts, I think, are going to let the entire playoff window unfold because, there's going to be candidates that they want to talk to from teams that are playing this weekend that they can't talk to yet or aren't available to talk yet, right? I mean, you see both of the Giants coordinators aren't going to speak. There's candidates from the 49ers that aren't going to interview this week. And rightfully so, in my opinion, rightfully so. Like, they don't want to take time and attention away from the biggest games of the year to think about what could be for their futures that's not guaranteed starting next season. And that's sort of a tangent that I have. I mean, there's got to be a better way to do this, to be honest with you. Like, there's got to be a better way. I know teams want to put things in place as quickly as possible and start the foundation of a new regime and have a springboard as quickly as possible for the upcoming season. I totally get that. But there's got to be a better way than to have coaches have to divide their attention from what they've put in all season long to get to this point, and then to have to, stay up into the wee hours of the night and put a presentation together for, how they would run a team that they may not get the job with. So right. That's just a tangent that I have. But at any rate, I mean, yeah, the Colts are going to let this thing go all the way, I think, until the Super Bowl. And, when they tried to hire Josh McDaniels, that was in early February. I think that was February 6th. So that gives you a little bit of a timeline. And also, the Jacksonville Jaguars went through this last year hiring Doug Peterson. They interviewed about 10 candidates. So I would expect that talent pool, if you will, for the Colts to be that big, maybe a little bit bigger, as they try to cast a wide net and figure out exactly who they want and what they want at that position as they try to rebound from missing the playoffs the last 2 years.
Well, brother, I appreciate it as always. While you're away, let's see. You're not on the bad list for not seeing movies, is it?
Matt is breaking away. How about that?
Yeah. I've seen bits and listen, I'm not trying to slander. It's just it really has never held my attention. But I've seen bits and pieces. I respect it. All right.
It was filmed right here.
That is true, Coach. That's true Coach speak that Matt just gave us. I respect it.
It was filmed right here on
doesn't make it a great movie, right?
Exactly. In and around Bloomington. I think it was the very last year they used the old track that used to be around the football stadium, where when they were still having the little 5 on the 10th Street Stadium, that's the old football stadium.
Nice.
It was the old football stadium, which there's nothing there now, which is wild, because when this movie was made, that track and everything was right there. But there's Dennis Quaid's in it. The father of the guy of the main character, him. It's a good movie. It's worth watching.
It's all right. Well, maybe I'll give it a second chance.
Especially, it's cool when you see stuff from a city that you know real well from a long time ago. Oh wow, look at that. Like if you look at Stripes, Louisville is so freaking different now. When they made that movie, but absolutely. Right. But don't worry, Dustin is far and away got you beat on. I would have to sit here and type up a daggone 2-page list of things to get him caught up on.
Yeah.
We're just missing out on some great impersonations from some of these movies with you.
That's true.
Man, there's some great ones.
I'll give it a second chance. I'll sit down and I'll give it a second chance. I'll keep an open mind for you.
What about Cool Hand Luke?
Oh yeah, you kidding me? Classic.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
How about Dustin? Do you like Steve McQueen because he's born and raised in Beech Grove?
I did not know that. What?
I didn't know that either.
Steve McQueen is born and raised in Beech Grove, Indiana. Swear to God.
I did not know that. Now I know that James Dean was from Indiana.
Yeah. Steve McQueen, Beech Grove, Indiana, and what's that war movie that he was in? Where they're trying to break away from the prison camp in World War II in Germany.
The greatest
Breaking Away.
Yeah,
Breaking Away.
Breaking Away. You need to watch Breaking Away tonight, Jim.
The Great Escape. I did not know Steve McQueen was from Beech Grove, Indiana.
Yep.
Now you do.
See, you learn something every day, pal.
You know James Dean. I forget the town that he was born in, but also obviously born and buried here in Indiana.
How about that?
David Lee Roth, born in Bloomington. Did you know that?
That's right. I did know that. And Axl Rose is from Lafayette, Indiana.
Yep.
And Izzy Stradlin, who was in the band with them. They started the Guns N' Roses together.
Yeah.
But both. It's crazy. Well, and then the Jacksons, Michael Jackson, John Mellencamp.
Yeah.
It's that's a lot of.
This has become Ancestry.com for Indiana.
Well, that's a lot of famous rock stuff, man, for a state the size of Indiana.
Yeah.
Then to top it off,
then you have Jim Coyle who resides here.
You just took my line, man. I was going to say, and we've got Matt Taylor.
You got a bunch of jokers here.
Yeah. Jokers to the left of me and jokers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you guys.
Well, Steelers wheel. Well done, sir.
Thank you, sir. Hey, brother, I hope you have a great rest of your week and a great weekend, and look forward to talking to you soon. Hopefully,
you got it, guys.
Hey, you got to get down this way.
I know it. I'll let you know, my friend. I'll let you know.
Have a good one, buddy. Matt Taylor from
the
Indianapolis Colts joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Go Team, a part of the Endeavor Hospitality Wow Club. Make sure you go to Endeavor Hospitality's My Wow Club or My Wow Network and join the Wow Club. Start earning wow rewards to great places like BB's and Southern Stone. But also for those who are on the go, whether it's you, your kids, or the team, it's hard to find fresh, tasty food that's convenient to eat on the fly. Go Team was created for go-getters like you. full of fresh, healthy ingredients, and each recipe contains high-quality protein powder, and they taste incredible. I had the last night. I had was a chocolate chip mint, and it's like, wow. It's you want a great healthy snack that tastes great, go teambites.com, baby. You can also pick them up at BB's Market, so do that. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Golfers, here's a deal you won't. Let's see. That didn't work. Edit avatar. I just hit the Colts. Maybe it won't let it because I'm in here. So you can't add an avatar. Add an avatar while you're in.
They may just be full because I've done it before.
I mean, I'm just going to my thing and it says edit. That says audio avatar. Hey, like when you go off camera, is there a way for you to put up an avatar?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know how to do that.
Go into your little bitty box underneath, and there's up in the corner. There's a microphone and 3 dots.
What?
Underneath the main screen that shows us 3 right now, there should be 3 little boxes underneath.
There's not.
Huh. All right. Damn, I can ban you from the studio.
You
How
do
are
all
you
kinds
just
of
now
things.
figuring this stuff out?
He's never paid attention to it. Didn't need to.
Oh my God.
Well, I came up with this slander. Oh.
All right. So this is going to be good practice for if we have to be more strict with our times with WJOB. This is going to be a very short segment, okay? And
Hey, Dorky Schutte.
Huh?
What's up?
What's up with Dorky Schutte?
Did somebody say that?
I just said it. That's what your name is.
I didn't know if somebody said that in
This
the
is only
comments.
going to be a 3-minute segment, Jimbo. Like I said, this
3
because if we have to be more specific with our times with WJOB, depending on the way they have to do it, we may have to do things like this more regularly.
Hey, and all right, so we'll use this for this. Get yourself up to speed, baby. Greg pointed that one out. I got you on that
Here
one
we
first.
go.
Now, here you go, more.
Breaking. I just hate the name, honestly. It just sounds like it sounds like a rom-com.
It kind of
does.
does.
Not, but the name makes
Maybe
it sound like
you
a
should
rom-com.
watch it and you would find out it's not.
All right, here we go.
An extensive wine selection with a sommelier on staff to help you with your selections. Feast also provides a wide variety of cheeses, gourmet sandwiches, entrees, a coffee bar, bread, pastries, all made fresh and mouthwatering. Stop by Feast, Market, and Cellar today.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here on this Thursday, brought to you by our good friends from Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore and her 2 decades of experience. It could be the difference between you getting the home you want or not. Reach out to her, Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. And if you're down in the Louisville, Southern Indiana area, Floyd, Clark, Harris, and Scott County areas, Jefferson County, all down through there, reach out to Barbara Pop Real Estate Services. They have served those communities for 3 decades. No one can get you in the home quicker and more inexpensively than Barbara and Matt. Reach out to Barbara at barbarapop.com or our friend Matt Lincoln. Matt at barbarapop.com. Quickly looking up some Google stuff. someone pointed out something about a movie named Breaking Away. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Best Music, Original Song Score. Actually, Best Supporting Actor also, I believe, because I believe Dennis Hopper won that. Just a little FYI for you, boys.
How about that? Well, I learned something new today.
Yeah, what did you learn?
That this movie won or was nominated for awards.
Awards.
What do you want me to call
We're
them? That's
talking
what
about
it is.
the Academy Awards, the Oscars, the epitome, the big dog.
The big dog. Well,
And talking about a guy who was nominated in a movie called Easy Rider. You ever hear of that movie? Of course you haven't. Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson, Fonda, Peter Fonda. Come on, man.
I mean, somebody's gonna push me off a cliff.
I'm about to jump off a cliff. What are y'all talking about?
I'm
surrounded by all this.
You know what's bizarre is I feel like I've seen a lot of, again, classic movies, but the ones that I have not seen are the ones that everybody has seen. So it seems like I haven't watched anything.
Yeah, you were too busy watching Knucklehead.
It's a Wonderful Life. That's what
It's a Wonderful
Yeah,
Life.
there you
That's
go.
a good one. That's a good one. Yep, another one.
Yes, it is.
Harvey?
When it's time to sit around and watch a. Well, Harvey. Well, now come on, now come in here now.
break.
We gotta take a break because the dorky Schutte has not seen movies, but we got lots more of Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming up here. But back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com joins us after this. We'll see what he does.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore Honda.
Somebody
That was
said,
impromptu.
that was pretty good. Somebody said
That
I
was-
still have a collection of the Olsen movies, Olsen twin movies.
Yes. Oh, I wish I'd have seen that.
Is that Mary Kate and Ashley?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have to ask that.
Memento, I have not seen. Shutter Island, I have seen. Shutter Island's pretty good. Seabiscuit, I've
Shutter
seen.
Island, Seabiscuit, these are not great movies.
I didn't say they were great. I just said that somebody mentioned them in the comments. I said I've seen 2 of them. You know what? Sometimes you just need easy going.
Well,
although
Dennis,
Shutter Island is kind of a mind bleep. Have you guys seen it?
Let's see.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
You need to watch The Nightmare of Milky Joe.
The Nightmare of Milky Joe. By the way, today is National Popcorn Day, so it's very appropriate that we're talking about movies.
Well, not only that, because most popcorn's made in Indiana, so thank you very much.
Is
This is,
everything that's made in Indiana? Guns N' Roses,
What?
Van Halen, popcorn.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Auto racing.
Here we go. Everything just made in Indiana. Everything's just made here.
We don't have to go very far to entertain ourselves.
Shawshank Redemption. That's classic. Yes. I mean, we could talk about this all
You know
day. I
what?
know we have to talk about basketball. with Kyler.
Indiana. This is Indiana Movie Review Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's
Sign
not
me
review. It's who knows. They don't even know. Now, here's the thing.
It's movie
There's a
shaming is what this has turned into.
Well, it is.
Kyler, have you
Sling
seen
Blade?
Breaking Away?
No. The bicycle
See?
movie.
See?
3 for 3.
See? Oh,
He
look at
called
that.
it the bicycle. He called it the
He
bicycle
did.
movie.
See? We're starting
Kyler
a
did?
movement here. Yeah. He just
Penalty
did. The
box.
bicycle- We're
Penalty
starting.
box.
We're starting a movement here.
We should make a parody of Breaking Away and just call it the bicycle movie.
Here's what we should do. Like you
You
guys
do that. You can't make a parody about a movie that's about something happened that went on at IU. Goofballs.
You can, and I think I will.
And
I'm
now,
gonna
now,
film
one
I'm
of my
gonna make a
favorite
video
pictures,
of,
though, there's a great picture of the 4 guys, the kid that when they're kids that are in the cat, they're sitting there laying on the ground in the end zone of Memorial Stadium watching a practice.
Wow.
Back when it was still and I remember when it was still open. There was just a hill there, but that's a cool picture.
That's got to be an amazing picture. I can see why it won Best Screenplay. Guys sitting in the end zone. What other movie brings that?
Pick up at
I'm just
BB's
saying
Market
it was a
with no
great
extra
picture.
charge. So leave the heavy lifting to us and enjoy healthy eating with stocked meals in your fridge. Order online today at thefreshfork.com. Fresh Fork is a proud partner of WOW Network. This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Well, welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Thursday, brought to you by our good friends at Feast Market and Cellar, a part of the Endeavor Hospitality WOW Club. Make sure you go to My WOW Network, sign up, join the My WOW Club. Start earning WOW rewards today. Two great places like Feast Market and Cellar, which has an incredible selection of wines, a sommelier on staff, gourmet sandwiches, great food. Just an incredible one of Bloomington's staples to stop in and visit, because they have probably the best wine selection around. Make sure you stop by. Located right next door to Southern Stone. Welcome in Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com. Kyler Staley, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Okay. I'm not going to ask you about movies because I know you're the last movie you saw was probably, Snoopy Goes to Hollywood. I don't know.
I watched The Menu on HBO Max last week. That was the last movie I watched. Really good movie.
The Menu. All right.
Yes.
I just want to address this before we get it.
Who's in the menu?
Who's on the menu?
I don't even know the actresses or actors' names, but
it was that compelling. It was that compelling. Huh?
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that. I was more involved with the story.
So I'm just going to address this really quick before we get into actual sports. Is that Edward Briggs says, "I bet Dustin for Christmas watches the Christmas Story Marathon." I 1000% watch the Christmas Story Marathon. It'll be on from 8 p.m. until 8 p.m. the next day if I have my choice. If I'm at home, I spend a lot of Christmas alone. So
I get that.
Of work
I do too.
obligations.
But once I get through that, there are others that have to be absorbed and taken in. There's only so much of that movie you can take in.
No,
you can only watch him stick his tongue on that flagpole so many times.
All I'm saying is that I'll watch it twice. I'll sit down and watch it, but it's just nice to have it on in the background. I don't know why, but I'll leave it on.
That's how Christmas movies are supposed to be. Just have them in the background, catch a few clips here and there.
Right.
So I agree with that.
Indiana hits the road tonight as they travel to Champaign, Illinois to take on the Fighting Illini, who had a very auspicious start to the Big Ten season, but have found their groove, so to speak. They've won 4 straight. That's tied for most in the Big Ten, and they have become a force. They have found themselves, so to speak, and that's with the departure. People talk about Indiana being shorthanded, not having X and race. Well, Scott Clark, not only they don't have him, he left the program, but word coming out of Champaign is it may be addition by subtraction for this team. But man, I look at them, dude. This is a big team. They're starting 3 guys that are 6'10", and that's going to be a tall task for Indiana.
Yeah, they're a big team. Pretty comparable to Arizona. Indiana, you saw they struggled with Arizona's size. This is a game where you really wish Race Thompson was playing. There's that experience. Coleman Hawkins, he's probably in the top 2 or 3 power forwards in the Big Ten. Just a really good player, stretch the floor out. Pretty similar to Race Thompson in a way, if you want to think about that in the game. And then of course you got their big guy. I think his last name's Danja. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I think so.
So
you got Matthew Mayer.
Yeah, and
he's 6'10". He's
just a big team.
He scored in double figures his last 5 games and 9 out of his last 10. That's 3 different bigs you've just talked about. 3. These guys are all 6'10", people.
Yep. And then this is a game where, obviously Trace Jackson Davis is going to have to, he's going to have a big game, but you're going to have to look for Malik Renew and Jordan Geronimo. Those guys got to step up. Jordan Geronimo had a breakout game sort of last game against Wisconsin. He needs to continue that momentum, and Renew needs to come in. He needs to continue to play some solid minutes. He had some solid minutes against Wisconsin. He needs to have a little bit more of that. And then you also look at Logan Duncombe to come in and maybe get a few spell minutes, give Trace Jackson Davis a little break on the bench, 3-5 minutes a game. Logan Duncombe's just got to come in and hold ground. But it's a big game. You focus in on the front court, but the storyline of the game is, Indiana, if they want to, get back into that top half of the Big Ten, these are games you kind of got to figure out a way to win. They really need to steal a road win. That Northwestern loss really hurt them. They haven't won a road game since, I think, Xavier. So Indiana's got to figure out a way to get a win on the road. These next 3 games are really important for Indiana. I think if you can get to, 2 out of the 3, you get wins out of there, I think they're okay. Because it's the Big Ten, anything can happen. So big game tonight. You just hope Indiana comes in ready to play.
Well, and you talked about the size that this team has, but I think one of the troubles, what we're going to find out about this defensive intensity is also Terrence Shannon. Are you going to be able to slow him down? I don't know. If you had Xavier Johnson, I think you feel a little bit better about that, but obviously you don't. So, I mean, is there going to be one guy on that assignment, or you think there's going to be a lot of guys that they try to throw at him to try to wear him down a little bit tonight?
I think you're going to see both Jalen Hood-Schifino and Trey Galloway get shots at him, especially Trey. I could see them starting the game off with Trey just because he does kind of bring that intensity, to the floor a little bit. He is the energetic guy of this team. I would expect him to be on it, but, he's going to get his. Shannon's going to get his. I mean, he's a great player. He's their leading scorer. So, it's just all about slowing him down. I just, when I look at this matchup is, what front court's going to be better? What front court's going to be better? And I think that's going to be kind of the key to the game. And speaking of the defensive end, they got to continue to play with that intensity like they did with Wisconsin. Illinois is a little different team than Wisconsin. They're going to play a little bit more up tempo, not much, but they're going to play a little bit more. Indiana's just got to continue that elite defense. And, hopefully that Wisconsin game kind of got them back on track on the defensive end.
For me tonight, Indiana has to get solid production, of course, from Jalen Hood-Schifino. That's become an expectation. Not fairly, to be honest with you. It's not fair that he is expected to be one of the guys every night in, night out, but he is, because if not, Indiana's in great trouble. But Trey Galloway, Tamar Bates, and Miller Kopp, they have to show up tonight, because with Illinois, they should be able to have their way in the interior, in the paint. Not to say that they're going to shut Trace Jackson Davis down, but you got 3 guys that are going to be going at him, and we've seen what happens when teams successfully double team. It does not. Indiana has not responded very well. Miller Kopp, we've been a lot of discussion about him here of late. Playing 28, 29, 30 minutes, taking 2 shots. Then him say, well, my job's not to shoot 20. No, you don't have to shoot 20 times a game. How about 5, 6? Something manageable. And it's instead of making excuses of why they're not doing the things they need to do, because I've talked about this team is going to play a schedule that has different personnel, and it's going to be a different look. This is a perfect example. This is a look against a really big team that is really long. They're starting 3 guys that are 6'10". You don't have that. What can you do to combat that and come at it in a different manner? Why would you not, in a ball games, try to get some screens for Miller Kopp in a game like this? Force a 6'10" guy to chase him around. Get more open shots. He needs to get his own open shots against a lineup like this. But they have got to adjust their offense, especially in a game like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. I think they got to get a little bit more creative tonight.
Why not all of it? Just kidding.
Okay, we'll say 99% of it, I guess.
Just kidding.
But anyway, so yeah, they got to get a little bit more creative on the offensive end tonight. I would expect, Trace Jackson Davis, the trend is he struggles against bigger guys. He really does. And Trace Jackson Davis is obviously a phenomenal player, but when it comes to size, when it comes to big guys, he does struggle. So, going into this game, it's reasonable to expect him to get shut down just a little bit. So other guys, like you said, got to step up. Trey Galloway, Miller Kopp, Tamar Bates. Those are three guys I look at that really got to step up. And with Miller Kopp, he's probably the most controversial figure on this Indiana team. He seems to be the most talked about. I wish Woodson would figure out a way to run more stuff to get him open. Expect him to.
But why doesn't he? Why doesn't he work a little more
Kyler.
to get open?
He's going to run into people.
Oh, my God. No, he's not going to run. Yes. Hopefully scraping defenders off.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I know.
It's got to be a combination of the two. To me, you have to show you want the ball because he's not a run and jump shooter. He's not a run and stop guy. He's got to be planted, squared up.
So if he's running, then what? Then he's not going to shoot.
Then you know what? You're not going to run this offense like it's 1985, though.
Then
it's too fast.
Have a conversation with Mike Woodson about not putting him on the floor. You either have to run something for him or not play him.
That's a different discussion. I agree.
It's the same conversation. It's the same.
He shouldn't be on. He shouldn't be on the floor if they're not going to do that. I agree with you.
Okay.
But he is. I can't help that. I think you should have Caleb Banks out there. Anybody, some athletic ability that could do something that hopefully, if he doesn't get lost defensively, if they don't do anything offensively, who cares? Because you're not getting anything anyway. If you can get something more defensively and get minutes for somebody, these guys have to develop. We talked about this depth on this team, but where is it? These guys have not been developed. Now, the freshmen are freshmen. I get that. But there's other guys. Logan Duncombe, for example. He's not developed. But he's never hardly played. Last week, they put him in for 3 minutes. He made a mistake. He got the ball in the paint. He was going to try to work it back his guy down. He reminded me of 5-year-olds in soccer. I'm like, dude, you cannot hold on to the ball for 20 minutes. Somebody's going to come take it away from you. He held on to the ball too long, and a guard just reached in and took it right away from him, but he doesn't have the experience in there. But these guys don't have experience. That's one of the knocks against Indiana. They're having to play guys that are inexperienced right now, and that's true. Who's backing up the backups? Guys that have not played hardly this entire year.
Yeah, and here's my thing with Miller Kopp is if you're not going to run plays for him and stuff, you got to find him in transition. And I think Indiana's failed a little bit to do that as well. So those two baskets that, or was it 2 or 3 shots that he had last game? Those both came from transition, threes. He got wide. I think Indiana's got to do a little bit better job of finding him in that scenario. But, Miller Kopp, he's just out there for senior leadership, I think, in a way.
Now, how's that coming? Oh, come on now. There is not leadership. The only leadership that potentially I've seen this year could have come from the players-only meeting that happened prior to the Wisconsin game that we heard about, because they played inspired basketball, if you want to call it that. They played like they should have been playing all along. They played with defensive intensity and a purpose, which I hadn't seen for a while. But can they continue that and take that on the road? That's the key.
You would hope so. Hopefully, that game wasn't, or that, player only meeting wasn't just for a game. Hopefully it's just kind of like, guys, we got a lot of talent on this team. We need to figure out something. And credit to them, to see like, hey, we're on a 3-game losing streak. We got to figure out something because we don't want to have the same, situation as we were last year. We don't want to be a bubble team. And Indiana right now has a chance to really turn their season around these next 3 games, like we mentioned. It would be big. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than going on the road and beating Illinois tonight. In Indiana, hopefully you can figure out a way to get that going tonight.
Last question: who draws the assignment for Terrence Shannon?
I think from what we talked about a little bit earlier, I think Trey Galloway to start off the game, and then maybe switch off between Jalen Hood-Schifino and him. So we'll see. I would expect those two to take that role. But like I said, Shannon's going to get his. He's a great player, and he's their leading scorer. So expect him to get his points tonight.
This is where you really, really miss having Xavier Johnson out there.
Absolutely.
To guard him, because he is a lockdown defender, and it makes a difference. You can't put Jalen Hood-Schifino on him much because you've got to be careful with him drawing fouls, and you have to have him in there to run that offense. Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com. Make sure you give him a follow. Go to thehoosier.com. What do you guys have for the folks for the game before and after?
So we've got the scouting notes that are probably up by now, maybe getting ready to be up. And then, of course, I've got my game preview coming up, the 3 storylines to watch for, all the information about the game. And then, of course, we'll have recaps. We'll have a bunch of side stories after the game, and we'll just see, what happens tonight with Indiana.
Absolutely. Kyler Staley, appreciate you, man.
Yep. See you guys.
Hey, we've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends from Metalworks Brewing Company. Metalworks, a part of the Endeavor Hospitality Wow Club as well. You can try the Metalworks Brewing and all the Endeavor Hospitality restaurants. They in the former Function location right off the square, so you can stop by and go straight in as well and try all their great in-house made beers. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio as Doug Bucshon joins us from Blue and Orange News, the Illinois Rivals site. We'll get a look from the other side right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
If you're looking for a... Here's our answer.
There we go.
Hey, Doug.
Good morning. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yes, sir. Can I get you to turn your phone sideways?
Sideways.
Yeah, just like landscape. Boom.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, it's not set on landscape, it looks like. You know how to set it on so it just rotates?
It already is. It's just not doing it.
Oh.
That's interesting.
I'll be damned.
Well, if it doesn't work, it's no big deal. It's okay.
Yeah.
It should flip. I don't know why it's not.
We've been arguing about movies this morning in between sports talk. Dustin, it also won the Golden Globe for Best Picture. Thank you very much. Yeah, what did it win? Dennis Hopper. Do you know who Dennis Hopper is by the chance?
Yes, I do know who Dennis Hopper is.
Oh, yeah. He's some guy. I don't know. He's in a couple movies.
He's in a few.
He's in a few.
So,
yeah, they skipped. Angelo skipped going to the Oscars to go to an Indiana basketball game. A tournament game. Did we lose Doug?
He's here. I think he's working on his camera.
Oh,
that's where it's who was it? Was it Eric Church that called off one of his concerts to see North Carolina play Duke in the Final Four? Yeah.
Yep.
Who did?
Eric Church.
Oh,
who also came to Assembly Hall to watch them get their ass beat.
Oh, that's right. He did do that, didn't he? I forgot about that.
See, I wish I would have known that. Gosh,
you were sitting literally feet from him and didn't know.
No, I wish I would have, because I would. You know me. I'd have got the interview right there on the freaking spot live. No, Kyler goes out to his car to do the segment for Quiet.
Hey, Doug, if you can't figure it out, it's okay. We've got about 30 seconds till we come back from break. All right, here we go.
Sorry about that. I don't know why.
It's all good. It ain't no biggie. Function Brewing, Metalworks Brewing Company is the culmination of a passion for beer, food, and custom metal art. Check out their custom growlers. Metalworks Brewing Company has an updated menu, new brews, and will be offered in all Endeavor Hospitality restaurants. Come taste what Dr. Hops is brewing. Metalworks Brewing Company. Bring your passion and your thirst.
This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here on this Thursday. Hope you guys are having a good week. If not, it's about over. We'll start you a new one here soon. But joined by Doug Bucshon from Blue and Orange News, Illinois' rivals site, where you can go for coverage of the Illini. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to the big game tonight at State Farm Center.
Yeah, as we call the spaceship in the cornfield. It's actually, I tell people, if you haven't seen it, it's actually a cool looking. It looks pretty cool because it's underlit, but it looks like a spaceship out in the cornfield when you get out close to it. A very cool design. And that thing is, how old is that center?
I'm not sure exactly. It was built in the 60s. I don't know exactly what year. So it's up there.
Yeah.
But, they totally rehabbed it a couple of years ago. So the inside of the arena is state of the art, really nice place to play basketball. And the great thing about it is the seats are a lot closer to the floor now, and the Orange Crush section, the fan section, is right behind the benches. So it's a nice atmosphere to play college basketball.
Yeah, especially those recliner seats I noticed that they have there last time I was there. They have a recliner seats and an area where you could just order from, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know how much those seats are. They're not always filled, but they do have that.
That ain't the $50 seats, I can tell you that.
No.
Doug, I almost said it. Dustin Schutte with us as well, our co-host from outsider.com. The Big Ten, man, it has been the Big Ten this year, which is to say nothing like we thought it was going to be. A lot of us thought it was going to be Indiana, Michigan, Illinois at the top. Then Indiana has had their problems, which have been multiple. Illinois all of a sudden fell off the cliff. Now they're climbing back. They've won 4 straight. Indiana trying to get on that train, but Illinois seeming to be there a little sooner. We talked about Sky Clark leaving and the potential of that being addition by subtraction. It's been a wonky season right now, and Rutgers is near the top. They're a half a game out of first place or a game out of first place, which no one predicted that. But if I look in the standings right now, Michigan and Illinois are in the top 4.
Yeah, they are, and you never know how it's going to shake out. You have Purdue, I think, is clearly the best team at the top. Then maybe Minnesota and Nebraska at the bottom, although they've pulled a couple upsets. Then everybody else in between, you can just put their name in a hat and shake it up and pick a team. It's Rutgers is playing well, but it's just the conference is schizophrenic, and you don't know who's going to beat who on any given night. You can't count on home field or home court advantage nearly as much as you used to be able to in the Big Ten. So it's going to shake out here, I think, with a lot of games played in the month of January. Everybody's playing a lot of games. They took some time off around Christmas break, and now they're cramming all the games in, in just a few weeks. But big game tonight between Illinois and Indiana in standings. And you talked about Sky Clark, but I think the improvements we've seen from Illinois have a lot more to do with changes that Brad Underwood made rather than changes to the roster. Completely revamped the offense, tweaked the defense quite a bit, changed the lineup, and kind of optimized that with the way that they're playing. And they're playing really good basketball right now.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask. It seemed to me like, it's easy to point at the change to the roster and say this is when Illinois started playing well. And as you hate that for a kid who's 18, 19 years old. But at the same time, that's what I was going to ask. In what area have they improved the most over these last 4 games? Because they've not only won games. I mean, they've been blowing some teams out. I think that the average margin of victory is double digits in those last four victories. So obviously something's clicking. I'm just curious to see, a firsthand account what you're seeing that's been so much different and where they're having maybe more success that they weren't having before.
Well, they started out the season. Brad Underwood wanted to play a 5-out offense, and he thought he had recruited those type of positionless players and a whole bunch of wings that they could put out there and look like the Golden State Warriors, but it just wasn't working. They were having all kinds of trouble scoring points. After they went to New York City and they beat then number 1 Texas. But after that, everything kind of fell apart offensively. And wholesale changes. He changed the lineup. He put Dane Danger, the big man, in the post. Put Sincere Harris, the freshman guard, in the starting lineup, who's known as a defensive stopper, and just changed the way they play. Now they're playing a spread motion attack, a more traditional, conventional offense. They're feeding the post. They're playing inside out. They're running a lot of ball screens, and they're scoring. They're scoring a lot easier than they were scoring before, and they're putting the ball in the hands of Terrence Shannon Jr. And with the old offense, it was just kind of it was just kind of luck if he got the ball at crunch time. Now they're giving him the ball in scoring opportunities where he can make an impact. And I think they just threw the 5-out offense into the trash can and started from scratch.
Well, and a lot of talk of Indiana's offense needing to be changed for multiple reasons, whether it's been injuries that they have sustained, which they have sustained injuries that have affected this team. You can't, and I'm not going to say otherwise, especially like I mentioned earlier, losing Xavier Johnson. Not only do you lose a veteran, that's their best on-ball defender, and that's the guy that would be guarding someone like Terrence Shannon tonight, who is going to be a headache for Indiana now because you can't have Jalen Hood-Schifino on him too long for fear of drawing fouls and having to have Jalen Hood-Schifino in the game. Now you put Trey Galloway on him, which nothing against Trey Galloway, but he's not Xavier Johnson. And Terrence Shannon is doing a remarkable job this year. 6'6" guard, big guard. He's going to make it. They're just a big team right now. They've gotten just so big. And then now you look inside, Indiana's hurting because they've lost Race Thompson, one of their bigs. You've got Trace Jackson Davis, but Illinois is throwing 3 guys 6'10" at you. And Malik Renew, this is a game where he's going to have to step up. He kind of hit a freshman wall. He was playing really well, and then it just kind of leveled off for him once Big Ten play came around. And Indiana is the perimeter game. They're going to have to force this game and hit some shots tonight if Illinois is going to plan on plugging up the paint.
Yeah, they do have the 2 injuries, which is big. You can't really lose players of that caliber in the Big Ten and go out every night and expect to play the way you did before the injuries. But they do have the X factor. They have the best player in this game in Trace. Illinois is going to have to defend the rim. And if you look at the statistics, Indiana's scoring a heck of a lot of points in the paint, and and state defending Trace Jackson Davis without fouling is going to be huge for Illinois. They can't get Dane Danger in foul trouble. I think what they'll probably do is run a few guys at him with Danger and Coleman Hawkins and Matthew Meyer will probably all take their shot at guarding him. But he's been an Illinois killer over the course of his career, and stopping him is really and not just stopping him offensively, but on the first shot, but stopping him from hitting the offensive glass and getting putbacks and second chance points is going to be huge for Illinois.
And in this game, Indiana, we saw them play really well defensively against Wisconsin over the weekend, but that's the team they really slow down the game, so it kind of played into Indiana's hand. Do you expect Illinois is going to push the tempo as much as they can, because that seems to give them an advantage, and it's also what Indiana struggled with when you look at some of the losses they've had this season?
They want to speed it up a little bit. I don't think they're going to want to turn it into a track meet. No, they don't have the ball handlers that they had. They only have two pure point guards, in Jaden Epps and Sincere Harris are the only 2 point guards on the roster now that Sky Clark is no longer with the team. But, they're going to grab it and go. They got guys like Terrence Shannon who can grab it and go. Matthew Meyer, who's been playing really good, is hitting double figures every game. He's going to grab it and go and put some pressure on the defense and make them defend, the whole court for the whole shot clock. But this time of year with the way scouting is in the Big Ten, if you've been watching the games on TV, they've all been turning into half-court games and kind of grinded out games. And I'm expecting a lot of the same tonight.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Illinois was tied for last in the Big Ten Conference at 0-3. They won 4 straight. They're now 4-3. They are maybe a half a game out of third. So they're in 4th place in the conference. To go from last to 4th in 2 weeks, that's a pretty damn good run. and that means they've got a lot of confidence as well. They're at home tonight on top of that. So this should be a good game with Indiana playing well in the last game, but this is a different type. They're playing Wisconsin did not have this length, and they were without Wall, so they were without their best player. This is a tough task for Indiana, and they're going to have to play with the moxie they played with that they haven't been. But Indiana's going to have a surprise from somebody tonight for them to win this game, in my opinion, because it's just the cards are kind of stacked against them, Dustin, with the talent that Illinois, not only the talent they have, but how they're playing, as Doug pointed out. Brad Underwood, who's very underregarded as a coach in this league, I'm going to say. But he made changes. He saw the changes had to be – things were not going well for Illinois, and he knew that they were a preseason favorite, and they were sucking 0-3, but made the changes, and wow, look what is happening. And I think Indiana needs a little bit of that, and that's what a lot of the fans have been calling for in certain areas, because the big talk about Indiana has been depth, going into the season, and then they lose a couple guys, and that depth disappears because the guys coming in didn't have the experience needed. So this is going to be a tough task for Indiana, Doug, and Illinois is coming back around. Are they a team that you think can not only, forget about this game, but challenge Purdue for the Big Ten title, because the Big Ten championship is going to go through West Lafayette?
That's yet to be seen. Like I said before, I think Purdue is clearly the best team in the league. They got the X factor in Zach Edey, who's so hard to contend with. I mean, how do you contend with a guy 7'5" when he gets the ball in the paint? It's an automatic 2. He shuts down the lane, defends the rim. I can't honestly see Illinois winning the Big Ten Conference in the regular season, but the way they're playing right now, I think they can definitely move up in the standings and challenge for the 2 spot. One thing you mentioned was depth in this game, and that's in my preview on the side. That's one of my keys to the game, are bench points. Illinois' bench has outscored the opponents in almost every game this year. They bring the freshmen off the bench, and they score a lot of points.
Talk about Jaden Epps.
Jaden Epps, he's a natural scorer. He can shoot the 3, he can drive the basketball, and and that group can score. And Indiana's shorthanded. You look at their numbers, and the bench hasn't been putting up a lot of points. So I think that will be a key.
Freshman that's coming off the bench that has scored in double figures in 6 out of his last 7 games. He's averaging 11 points a game, 9 assists, and 2 turnovers in his last 3 games. So when you can bring a freshman off the bench that brings production, yeah, you're doing really well, because we're talking about an Indiana team just getting production off the bench right now.
That's right. I think the fatigue factor is going to kind of even itself out, though, because Illinois just played on Monday. Knowing Brad Underwood, he had some hard practices in between. So Monday to Thursday, a quick turnaround. But they are able to go a little bit deeper into the bench and not lose much. I think in Indiana being shorthanded, we'll see how things go late in the game and where teams are at fatigue wise. But as far as bench production, I think the advantage definitely goes to Illinois.
Absolutely, Doug. Go ahead, Dustin.
Well, I was just really quick. I don't know. We talk about bench. I feel like Malik Renew could be a potential factor in this game, because I don't know that if Trace Jackson Davis gets into foul trouble, or has to get on, isn't playing well, they're going to need somebody to step up off the bench. And with Illinois having some bigger guys shutting him down, I feel like Renew is a guy who could have that opportunity. He hasn't had a lot of them, but this could be. We saw Jordan Geronimo have his breakout game against Wisconsin. Maybe this is his opportunity to have that big performance when Indiana needs it.
Yep. Doug, I can't thank you enough for if you're an Illini fan, of course, go to Blue and Orange News. That is the Illinois Rival site. Where can they find you on Twitter, Doug?
At Illinois Rivals, or my second handle, Doug Bucshon, at Doug Bucshon. Either spot, and orangeandbluenews.com or Illinois.rivals.com to get on the side. And we got a really good game preview right now on the front page.
Absolutely. Make sure you go there and keep up with it. And we appreciate you, man. We'll make sure you get this link and you can put that out on the site for people today too. But big thanks, man. Looking forward to the game tonight.
Yep, same here. Should be a great atmosphere. Sold out, I believe, at State Farm Center, and rival team coming to town. Should be a great game.
Absolutely. Doug Bucshon joining us from BlueandOrangeNews.com, the Illinois Rivals site. Make sure you go there to keep up with things. We've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Cabello Restaurant. Looking for something different for lunch or dinner? Visit Cabello, located on the square in downtown Bloomington. Experience the taste and traditions of Southern Italian heritage right here in Southern Indiana. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
John, will you send the link that you load onto our rival site to Doug so he can have that?
On his rival site as well?
Yes.
See, I'll tag him on Twitter, so he'll have the link through there.
Okay, so Doug, we'll tag you, and if you want to add, like we put these clips on the rival site itself each day as well. So if you want to put that up on your site, there's something for you to add.
All right, sounds good.
Anything else, man, I could ever do for you? Let me know.
All right, thanks for having me. I'm going back to bed.
Oh, thank you. I wish I was.
All right, see ya.
Have a good one, buddy. Thank you for getting up.
All right.
Hey, I don't know if it's too late for this now, but you kept saying blue and orange news. It's orange and blue.
Orange
news.
and blue. Yeah, I knew that I probably had that.
It's okay, though.
That's a stupid name.
I tell you what, a lot of the rival sites have some pretty dumb names.
What is there not a Illini report? Illini
something
news?
That's not so. I'm curious.
Something that says Illini. Illini report. Illini news. Illini. I could go all day long.
Let's see what the list of them are.
Yeah, he's so. Oh, I'm sorry. He's back. He's got his headphones on.
What?
Dorky Schutte.
I didn't realize you made that change until after the fact.
Oh, I thought you did that, Dustin.
I did not. No, I did not.
You can change other people's names, Jim.
Apparently,
you didn't.
Oh, you can now. You used to not be able to do that. That's a little interesting. You used to only be able to change your own.
Can't wait to see what other names we come up with.
Yeah, I'm sure. It'd be great.
What's that band? Oh yeah.
What?
I'm sure he's typing Nickelback something into my name.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't even spell it right, so I'll be believing that.
What, Nickelback?
Yeah, everybody always spells it like it's spelled like pickle, but it's
Is it EL?
Yeah, everybody always spells it wrong, which is fine.
That's probably because they're Canadian or something stupid.
What do you mean? That's how you spell nickel in like a nickel for like a coin.
That's true.
People just don't know how to spell.
You know,
Jim's spelling being put to the test.
What is your Twitter handle?
Dustin
Sports.
at Schutte Dustin. The tricycle shoot Dustin, the tricycle Schutte.
All right, here we go.
Main focus, Southern Stone strives to always provide their guests with an exceptional dining experience. With weekly specials, quick, attentive service, Southern Stone Restaurant provides delicious 5-star comfort food with a Southern charm at 2-star prices. Southern Stone Restaurant is part of Endeavor Hospitality's Wow Club.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
A little fucking cold Medina. Welcome back here on this Thursday to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, high atop the 18th fairway. Thursday. January 19th. Brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer, where everything is made fresh daily. They have over 50 televisions there. Man, you talk about a place to watch a game, take the family. You can do it all. Kevin thinks that Caleb Banks needs to play more. Well, a lot of people think a lot of people need to play more. Someone asked, will we see Logan Duncombe? Absolutely not. Logan Duncombe would just get eaten up. He does not have the experience, and this is not the game to get the experience because they will just tear him up. They're playing too well right now to put someone like that in there. Malik Renew, he is going to have to step up tonight. No question. Yeah. That's when I should have gave Matt Taylor. No question. To a Don.
Oh yes, Don does say no question a lot. Yes,
it's no question. And at this juncture, those are the two. And I will not even try to do a Don Fisher. Cannot come close. I can't get it in my ear. You know, when you're doing impersonation, you can kind of hear, I'm like, I don't think that I really sound like that person. Then somebody says, oh man, that's pretty good. I'm like going, that's weird. But I cannot even get that one in my ear. I can't hear it. And for Matt to be able to do that is pretty damn good.
I used to be able, I don't know that I could still do it. I used to be able to do Mel Kiper.
You see, and another good point is no one can do me because like Matt said, if you have an impersonable voice, you've got cadence, you've got something different. It's just something unique. I have none of that. No uniqueness. No.
Is there
no great?
Is there any impersonation you can do like that you're proud of?
I just did one for you 15 minutes ago right off the cuff, man. Wow.
Jimmy Stewart.
Sit down here and now. I can't believe you haven't seen these movies now. What the hell's wrong with you?
That's a good one.
Well, I'm gonna have to take you outside and beat the holy crap out of you.
I used to be able to do Elmo as well. I don't know that I could still do that.
Who can't do Elmo?
Go for it. I want to hear it.
Hi, Dustin. Thanks for playing.
We're gonna do Jim Show.
I had an Elmo doll that I bought my daughter when she was young, and it had a recording on it that he said stuff, and you could program it.
There you go.
And you could type it in, and he would say, "Good morning, Kylie." It was hilarious. I got a bigger kick out of that than she did, I think. Are players not developing their roles because Woody keeps playing so many? No, because you weren't playing enough early on. I think that's how you get experience. I don't think he's playing that many right now because remember, you're 2 down, so we've barely seen Caleb Banks. Logan Duncombe, he got in for 3 minutes the other night and made a turnover and bye birdie.
I don't know what the problem is. It is I don't want to give him too much grief because we're only in.
Who are you talking about?
Mike Woodson.
Well, I'm not giving him grief. I'm just saying.
No. But I'm saying I'm addressing the topic of development because I feel like you can talk out of both sides of your mouth with this. And number one is that development still appears to be an issue. Like it baffles me that they're not like. Why hasn't Miller Kopp gotten more shots? Why hasn't Trace Jackson Davis developed some sort of jumper?
Those are two different issues right there.
I don't think it is.
Well, of course it is. Trace Jackson Davis, that's on himself to develop an 10-foot jump shot.
But you need. So let's go back to your point that you've been arguing. Miller Kopp needs to try to get open more frequently. Why haven't they worked on that with him? I don't think that they have.
To me, okay, you don't have to work on it with me. All right.
There are things you can.
If it's me, you don't have to work on it. I'm going to. It's called hustle.
I understand.
Move 3 times faster than you are right now to beat a guy. You have to actually work to beat guys. And
I understand.
I don't see that.
Well, okay, but there are ways to get open in the game, and I don't understand. Like that can be a skill it's not something you can completely teach. You're right. You have to have a little bit of it, but it's also something. Here's how we can, if you do this, you're going to be able to free yourself up. Why? Or work on him shooting over guys. Clearly, he's not comfortable
have
doing
somebody in there like Caleb Banks that is trying to play the role of a Dennis Rodman.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
If you're not going to do anything, do something. Pull down rebounds. Cop doesn't do jack squat, and you can't tell me this being a decoy. Who are they pulling off? How's that been working out? What's that done for this offense? How good has it made this offense? It makes it two-dimensional. Trace Jackson Davis or Jalen Hood-Schifino. That's it. That's all they've had to worry about. Alec Lasley posted something great yesterday, stat numbers. I'll make sure, we're still inside of it. And I need to probably have to pull up on Twitter, daggone it. But where was that? He had the numbers for Miller Kopp's first however many games, maybe up till now, but his last or the previous 4 games or the last 6 games, how the difference in shot attempts, shots made, all of that stuff. Gosh dang it. Gotta log in again. Crap. It's always like that. Come on, man.
How it goes.
Gee whiz.
While you look that up, my point was I don't want to put too much on Mike Woodson because you still have some guys that were under the previous regime. You still have it's still early in his tenure, so I don't want to say there's no development whatsoever. But I think what a lot of us thought was there definitely wasn't any development under Archie Miller. Once they get a full season under Mike Woodson, we're going to start to see different elements of different players' games. And right now, I just don't think you see that. So
I can say that you can't blame Archie now for
no. I'm not
the development of Trace Jackson Davis.
I'm not.
I'm saying
right,
that I can't because I would hound on him about it.
Well, I mean, but we'll see what happens. To me, it's still wait and see. But there are some things that need to happen. Whether it's through the course of this season, still a long season. We could see Indiana have an Illinois-like. It's going to be incredibly difficult without Xavier Johnson. But they could have some sort of Illinois-like resurgence where they play really well, and all of a sudden we're like, why wouldn't this team playing like this, to start the year? But better late than never. We could still see that. There's a lot of season to be played, but I think as it stands right now, there's going to have to be a lot of questions answered in practice, in the workout room, and all the in the off season. Just as it stands,
I agree.
As it stands now.
Illinois is the perfect example of that. They started out 0-3.
Right.
Indiana did.
And they looked horrible. They looked
horrible. Can you imagine if Indiana started out 0-3, what the tone would have been like? Oh,
not good.
It would have been.
Well, they were 1-4 and it was miserable.
Boy, it would have been the gnashing of teeth and all of the fire and brimstone and all of that good stuff, man.
Well, it already has been kind of. But I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tougher with Indiana because they did lose 2 starters. So I feel like at this point, expectations have been tempered a little bit.
Here's these numbers. All right. Previous 6 games for Miller Kopp, he averaged 12.3 points, 9 field goal attempts, and almost 7 3-point field goal attempts per game, making almost 3 threes per game. Previous 6 games. The last 4 games, the last 10 games, you've got the 6 and then the last 4. In his last 4 games, he's gone from 12.3 points per game to a third of that at 4.8 points per game. He's gone from 9 field goal attempts per game to 2.5. He's gone from nearly 7 made threes per game to 1.5. And attempts, that was attempts, and gone from almost 3 made threes per game to less than 1 made 3 per game.
Yeah.
That has all happened in the last 10 games.
Because teams are figuring out that they can't leave him. So you've got to run. If you want him to shoot more, you're going to have to run more stuff for him. And I think, again, I have not watched this as closely as some of our listeners, but that's something I'm going to keep an eye on tonight, because I'm sure, as Kyler said earlier, I'm sure they were getting him the ball more in transition. I'm sure they were. And when you get him some shots in transition, then you get him some shot. You run a couple plays for him. There's your 8 to 10 shots, or however many he was shooting. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure that teams, hey, this is the one guy that can beat us from deep. We can't let this guy get open. The other guys will live with it. And that's what I think is going to be interesting about Illinois tonight. I think that they're going to try to take away as much as they can Trace Jackson Davis and say, if Indiana's going to beat us, they're going to have to beat us from behind the 3-point line.
Well, I'm going to watch tonight's game. Miller Kopp needs to have 4 attempts per half.
Okay. I don't disagree.
He has to shoot 8 times a game. What was he before? You know what? It was 9 field goal attempts per game. That's fine. I'm good with 8.
Yeah.
8 attempts per game. Now, they don't all have to be jump shots from the corner. Get off your ass. Move a little bit. Shake your man. Hit a 12-foot jump shot. There's different ways you can score. We've seen him get to the rim. He's not, he's not Jalen Hood-Schifino or Xavier. Not asking him to be. But when you're on the move, you create things.
Right.
And just standing in the corner doesn't work. If you get that open shot, great. Take it. Knock it down. Otherwise, move. Be a part of the offense. That standing around crap, it doesn't work. These numbers bear it out. It shows, and especially now that Indiana does not have Race Thompson for teams to have to worry about. They don't have Xavier Johnson for teams to have to worry about. You have to create some worry for them. Who's going to be the guy that they have to worry about? If there's not one, then they're going to be easy as
they're going to be easy to defend. Yeah, I agree with that too, for sure. Should we dive into our new segment, Shooty Shoutouts?
How much time we got left?
I'm trying to steal the show.
Yes, we've only got 4 minutes left. Absolutely.
First off, we have to start off Terry Morin, new program record, all-time wins leader, women's basketball. Got a big win last night. It's awesome. Congratulations to her. She's revolutionized Indiana women's basketball. Again, she's been there. This is her 9th season. She's hit 8 wins every year but her first one. Winning record every year but their first one. Reached the postseason every year but her first one. So she's done a fantastic job. Awesome for her. Another one is it's National Popcorn Day. So shout out to Popcorn. And that guy who the movie theater popcorn guy that went viral.
That guy?
Well, I don't know his name. John knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure of it. The popcorn guy who's like filling it up. He was on Jimmy Kimmel. He spins it around. Very, very generous with the butter.
So I really wish I could agree with you, but I don't think I know for sure what you're talking
knows
about.
What I'm talking about. Oh, for the love.
It may be one of those things that I've seen in passing, but just don't recall.
John goes, after the show, John goes back into his cave, right?
Now I'm learning that. See, he's in a darker cave than I am.
You're not obviously not talking about Orville Redenbacher.
No, Orville Redenbacher. Although that's another Indiana guy, isn't it? He went to Purdue.
I believe he did.
There you go. How
Farmer
about that?
Boy, but there's I don't know how much of the country's popcorn is made in Indiana, but a bunch. Down in southern Indiana, down by me, down in New Salisbury, Palmyra area, tons of it down there, Ben.
There used to be. I don't know if this is still
true.
Do you
have any more shout outs? I don't want to cut your shout outs off.
Inga's popcorn. That was good. Those were the 2 biggest ones I had. Look, everybody knows what I'm talking about now here in the comments. Popcorn guy, he's amazing, viral on TikTok. Popcorn guy was great. 5 Lefts knows. Awesome. that kid making dishing popcorn an art form. I agree.
1 minute.
I don't know who you're. I don't. We'll have to pull this up tomorrow.
You'll have to pull it up tomorrow. I can't believe you guys haven't seen it. It stole the internet, stole social media. So those are the 3 shout outs right there: Popcorn, Terry Morin, and then Popcorn Guy who made it an art form. There's not a better way to put that.
No, Dennis Hopper was not in Breaking Away, James. I was talking about something else at that moment.
At that juncture.
At that juncture.
Wow.
No question, James. I was talking about something else at that juncture. Speaking of which, we have reached that juncture, unfortunately, where we've got to call it quits for the day. I hate that because we like to keep on going. Tonight, Indiana taking on the Illini. Make sure you catch that. And we'll be back tomorrow with the usual cast. Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com will be joining us to not only recap last night's game, but preview Sunday's game with Michigan State. Indiana with a tough 2-game stretch coming up. Also, Zach Osterman will be with us tomorrow. And from Spartans Illustrated, we have somebody else.
I think his name's Carter. Either first
Carter Elliott.
Carter
Elliott. Yes, Carter Elliott from
Somebody
Spartans
else.
Illustrated. So, I couldn't remember. Too many new names, man. But we'll get a preview and a on Sparty with that as well. So, lots coming up, man. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.